The rain fell hard on the broken streets of the old alien colony. Buildings were cracked, lights flickered, the wind blew cold through empty homes. Most people had left this place long ago, but Cale, a human trader, had come for cheap fuel and scrap. His ship needed repairs. He didn't want to stay long. He walked through the muddy street, pulling his coat tighter. He just wanted to buy parts and leave. But then, he saw something strange. A woman, not human. She was sitting in the rain holding a child in each arm. Her skin was a soft gray blue. Her face was tired. Her long, wet hair stuck to her cheeks. One of her children was coughing, the other one looked too thin, like he hadn't eaten in days. People walked past her. No one stopped. No one looked. Some even said rude things. Dirty alien. She should go back to her kind. She's just looking for pity. But Cale stood still. He couldn't look away. The alien woman looked up and their eyes met. Her eyes were golden and full of pain. She didn't beg. She didn't speak. She just held her kids closer. Cale slowly walked toward her. Are you all right? He asked. She didn't answer. The little girl in her arms looked at Cale and whispered, "Mama is sick." Then her tiny head dropped. She had fainted. Cale dropped to his knees. "Hey, she's burning up. She has a fever." Still, no one stopped to help. Cale looked around, angry. "Doesn't anyone care?" An old alien vendor nearby shrugged. "She's been here for days, begging, no money, no food, let her die, no one wants trouble." Cale looked at the woman again. She was shaking, holding her unconscious daughter tightly like she was afraid someone would take her away. "What's your name?" he asked softly. The woman blinked, lips trembling. Then she spoke in a quiet, broken voice. "Nayli." Cale nodded. "All right. Nayli, I'm Cale. I'm going to help you, okay?" Nayli didn't speak, but a tear rolled down her cheek. He picked up the little girl. She was light, too light, starving. Then he looked at the boy. He was maybe 6 years old. He didn't cry. He didn't talk. He just followed Cale with wide, scared eyes. Cale held out his hand to him. "Come on, kid. Let's go somewhere warm." The boy took his hand. Cale looked at Nayli. "Can you walk?" She tried to stand, but her legs gave out. Cale cursed under his breath, then helped her up with his free arm. He didn't care about the stairs. He didn't care about the dirty looks. He carried them all back to his ship. Inside the small ship, he turned on the heater. The room warmed quickly. The lights flickered softly. He gave them towels and clean clothes, some old human clothes. But they were better than wet rags. The boy ate like he hadn't eaten in weeks. The girl woke up after a while, weak but alive. Nayli sat on the edge of the bunk, staring at them like she was dreaming. Cale brought her a bowl of hot soup. She looked at it, surprised. "Why?" she asked. Cale raised an eyebrow. "Why what?" "Why, help me?" Cale shrugged. "Because no one else did." Nayli looked down. "We have nothing to give. I have no job, no home, just them." She looked at her children, her eyes full of sorrow. "I only want them to live." Cale sat beside her. "Then you've come to the right place." For a moment the ship was quiet. Only the soft hum of the engine and the breathing of sleeping children filled the air. Nayli closed her eyes. I'm not asking for much, but if I die, will you take them?" Cale's chest tightened. "Don't talk like that. I'm just a burden. No one wants a widow with alien children. But maybe," her voice broke, "maybe a kind human will save them." Cale looked at her, really looked. She was weak, tired, but there was love in her eyes, a love so strong it made her willing to give everything, even her children's future, to someone she had just met. And something deep inside Cale shifted. This wasn't just a supply run anymore. This was something bigger, something he didn't understand yet. But he knew one thing for sure. He was not going to walk away. Not from her. not from them. Night had fallen over the landing port. Outside, the broken colony slept under dark clouds, but inside Cale's ship, a soft light glowed, casting warm shadows on the walls. Nellie sat beside her children. They were wrapped in clean blankets, sleeping safely on Cale's bunk. The boy held his sister close, their faces calm for the first time in days, but Nellie was not calm. Cale returned from the engine room, wiping grease from his hands. He had given them food, shelter, and safety, but something in Nellie's eyes told him it wasn't enough. She sat silently, staring at the sleeping kids, her hands shaking in her lap. Cale gently handed her a warm drink. "You should rest. You look like you haven't slept in days." She didn't take the cup. "Cale," she whispered, voice low, like a secret. "You don't understand. I didn't come here just to beg for food." He tilted his head. "Then why?" Nellie finally looked at him. Her golden eyes shimmered, with tears she hadn't let fall before. "I came to find someone," she said. "Someone to take my children." Cale frowned. "You mean permanently?" Nellie nodded. "Yes, to take them, raise them, love them. I hoped maybe one human would not turn away." Cale stared at her, speechless. "You think I'm a mother," she continued. "But I'm not anymore. My body is giving up. I've been sick for months, running, hiding, starving. My children are not safe with me." Cale's throat went dry. "You're sick?" She nodded. "Inside, it spreads. I cough blood in the mornings. I hide it from them. But I know what's coming." She reached into the folds of her worn clothes and pulled out something small, a thin silver locket. She opened it. Inside were 2 tiny drawings, one of her son, one of her daughter. Drawn by hand, she handed it to Cale with shaking fingers. "I want you to keep this," she said. "If I don't wake up one day, tell them I love them more than anything." Cale looked at the locket, then at her. "Why me?" he asked. "You just met me." "Because you looked at me like I was still alive," she said simply. Silence filled the room. Cale had seen suffering before. He had traded with broken colonies, seen hungry faces, but never like this. Never someone ready to give away her children just to save them. Nellie tried to smile. "They laugh with you. That hasn't happened in a long time. You gave them warmth, something I can't anymore." Cale rubbed the back of his neck, unsure of what to say. "You're not a burden," he finally said. Nellie laughed, a small, bitter sound. "You say that now, but when they cry in the night? When they ask where I've gone? When they get sick and you don't know what to do?" She looked down again. "Will you still say it then?" Cale stood quietly, then walked to the other side of the room. He opened a locker and pulled out 2 small folded blankets. Not much, but they were clean, warm. He laid them next to the kids. Then he walked back, knelt in front of Nellie, and gently took her hand. "I don't know what's coming," he said, "but I won't let them be alone." Nellie's lips trembled. "You would do that?" Cale nodded. "Yes, but only if you promise me something." She blinked, confused. "What?" "Don't give up yet." A single tear fell from her eye. "I don't know how to keep going." Cale's voice softened. "Then lean on me until you do." That night, Nellie finally slept. Her face relaxed. Her breathing was weak but steady. And Cale? He stayed awake. He watched the stars through the small window of his ship, and he realized something that scared him more than bounty hunters, war zones, or even death. He didn't want to lose her. Not the children, not her. The next morning, the storm had passed, but inside Cale's ship, a new storm was just beginning. Nellie had not woken up. She lay motionless on the small bunk. Her breathing was shallow, lips pale, skin clammy. The children sat beside her, silent and scared. Cale knelt beside her, gently pressing the back of his hand to her forehead. "Still burning up?" The boy, Rin, spoke at last. Mama was coughing blood. Before we met you. Kale's stomach dropped. Why didn't you tell me? Rin looked down. She told us not to. She said, humans don't like sick aliens. She said if they found out, they'd take us away. Kale stood and grabbed his medkit. He didn't know much about alien medicine, but he knew enough to run a basic scan. As the device buzzed softly over her, red warning lights blinked to life. Internal infection, organ damage, long-term malnutrition. But something else caught his eye, a small metal tag hidden just beneath her skin. What the hell? He switched modes on the scanner, zooming in. It wasn't a disease marker, it was a brand, burned deep into her back muscle below the skin, tiny, encoded with numbers. Words. He looked closer. Property of Kurtal Trade House Class, slave, breeder. Unit number 9821. Kale's heart froze. She hadn't just been running. She had escaped. He stared at the woman lying unconscious on his bed, and saw her differently now. She wasn't just a mother. She was a survivor, a fugitive, and maybe a hunted one. Rin tugged his sleeve. What's wrong? Kale knelt and looked him in the eye. Did your mother ever tell you where she came from? Rin nodded. A place with walls and collars. She said we were born in the dark. Kale swallowed. His voice cracked. She got you out of there? Rin nodded again. She hurt her leg when we escaped. She still limps. Kale suddenly remembered how she struggled to stand that first day. He had thought she was weak. He had been wrong. She was hurt. And still carrying 2 children. Stars, he whispered. She risked everything. He stood and walked to the pilot seat. With shaking hands, he checked the recent bounty board. Just to be sure. There it was. Fugitive notice. Kurtal Asset 9821. Alien female stolen breeder class property. If found, report immediately. Reward, 30,000 credits. Kale leaned back in the chair, heart pounding. He could turn her in. Fix his. Ship, retire, live rich, but he didn't even consider it. He closed the screen. No bounty was worth betraying someone who had fought this hard to keep her children free. Kale returned to Nayli's side. He placed a cloth on her forehead. She stirred, just slightly. Her lips moved. The mark. You saw. Tit? He nodded. Yeah, I saw. Nayli turned her face to the wall. You'll give me back, won't you? Kale didn't answer. Instead, he gently turned her face back to him. I'm not giving you to anyone, he said. That part of your life? It's over now. Tears filled her eyes. They will come for me. Kale leaned in. Then let them come. Nayli's breath hitched. They branded me. Used me. Called me breeder, not mother. But these children are mine. Not theirs. I believe you, Kale said softly. She closed her eyes. Please. Don't let them go back. I won't, Kale promised. You have my word. Then she whispered something in her native tongue, words he couldn't understand, but he knew what they meant. Hope. She had no reason to trust him. No proof he could protect them. But she did. And for the first time in years, Kale wanted to be someone worthy of that trust. He looked down at the sleeping children. He wasn't their blood. He wasn't even their kind. But in that moment, he made a silent vow. He would become their father. Even if it meant facing the stars with a weapon in hand. Kale woke up to a blinking red light on his console. Unauthorized scan detected. He jumped from his seat and rushed to the control panel. A patrol drone had passed by during the night. Quiet, quick and nosy. His ship had been scanned. His heart thudded. He checked the logs. Yes, the drone had accessed heat signatures. 4 bodies inside the ship. 1 match flagged a known fugitive. Nayli. He swore under his breath. The system hadn't reported the scan yet. He had maybe 30 minutes before it reached the bureau. He turned and looked at the small bunk behind him. Nayli was still asleep, her hand resting protectively on her daughter's tiny arm. Rin curled up beside them, blinking awake. "Is it morning?" the boy asked. Kale forced a smile. "Almost. Stay there. I just need to check something." But inside, Kale was panicking. The bureau didn't care about the truth. To them, Nayli wasn't a mother, she was stolen property. And if they found her, they'd take her children too, treat them like mistakes to erase. He pulled up a route map. There was one place they could hide, Esker's Refuge, an old mining colony deep in the asteroid belt. Not fancy, not safe, but off-grid. He punched in the coordinates, but before he could launch, a message pinged through. "Attention, Ship 09 Talon. You are holding classified bioassets. Remain docked. An agent is en route." Kale froze. They were coming, now. Nayli woke to the sound of Kale packing. She sat up quickly. "What's happening?" "We have to go," he said. "Right now." Nayli's body tensed. "They found me." Kale didn't look at her. He just nodded once. "Drone scan. Flagged your ID." Nayli stood, still weak but determined. "Take the children. Leave me. They won't chase you if I stay behind." "No," Kale said sharply. "We leave together, all of us." Nayli stepped closer, voice firm. "You don't understand. The Bureau doesn't negotiate. They burn ships. They take children. They erase records. If you're caught with me, I said no," Kale snapped. Then his voice softened. "I'm not leaving you behind. You trusted me. Now trust that I'll get you out." Nayli stared at him, her eyes wide, unsure whether to hope or cry. Rin grabbed his sister's hand. "What's going on, Mama?" Nayli crouched and hugged them tight. "Remember what I said? We run, but we run together." As Kale powered up the engines, a small vessel descended from above. It was silent, sleek, Bureau class. They didn't knock. A loud metal hiss echoed through the ship as the outside door was forced open. "They're inside," Kale whispered. Nayli pushed the children toward a back chamber. "Go, hide under the floor panel." Kale looked at her. "There's no time. I'll buy you 10 seconds, she said, stepping toward the door. Kale grabbed her arm. "No, we faced them together. They didn't get the chance." The Bureau agent entered in full black armor, a laser pistol drawn. A red badge on his chest read, "Asset Recovery, Bioproperty Enforcement." The agent looked at Nayli. "Unit 9821, you have violated trade laws. Come quietly or face termination." Nayli stood tall, shielding her children. "I am not a unit. I am a mother." The agent didn't flinch. "You are company property." Kale stepped in front of her. "Not anymore." The agent aimed his weapon. "Interference with Bureau collection is a felony under Code 77A. Step E. Aside." Kale smiled coldly. "Then charge me." Before the agent could fire, Kale hit a switch behind his back. Blinding white light flashed. Smoke burst from the vents. The emergency system had been triggered. Kale grabbed Nayli's hand. "Run!" They bolted through the side hatch as alarms blared. They made it to the escape shuttle just as the Bureau agent regained sight. Kale slammed the door shut, sealed it, and punched the launch button. The small shuttle shot out from the main ship, diving into the clouds. Behind them, the agent's voice echoed over the comms. "You can't run forever. We will find her. And when we do, the children go back too." Kale stared at the stars ahead, his jaw clenched. "We'll see about that." Nayli leaned back in the seat, exhausted, holding her children close. Rin whispered, "Where are we going? Now?" Kale looked at them, then at Nayli, then back at the stars. "To a place where no one owns you," he said softly. "A place where you're free." The shuttle landed on a forgotten moon called Varan 6, a cold, quiet rock spinning between asteroid belts. There were no cities here, no Bureau ships, just old mining stations, frozen air and silence. It was perfect. Kale helped Nayli down the ramp. She limped, weaker than before, but her eyes still watched her children first. Always them. A few scattered. Aliens lived in the ruins of the mining colony. They didn't ask questions. Most had pasts they were hiding too. Kale rented a small metal hut, cracked roof, thin walls, but it had heat, clean water, and a lock on the door. To the children, it was paradise. That first night, Kale cooked them a simple stew. The vegetables were dry. The bread was old, but no one complained. Rin sat cross-legged on the floor, telling his little sister stories with his hands. They laughed softly, their voices echoing in the still room. Nayli sat beside Kale. She looked thinner than ever, pale, fragile, but she smiled, a real smile. "They're happy," she whispered. "They feel safe," Kale replied. Nayli looked at him. "That's because of you." Kale shook his head. "It's because of you. You gave them something worth running for." A long silence passed. Then Nayli asked softly, "What happens now?" Kale stared at the fire. "We stay quiet. We build a life. And maybe one day we stop running." Nayli nodded slowly. "A family that shouldn't exist, but does," Kale said, finishing her thought. Days turned to weeks. Nayli taught her children to speak more human words. Kale taught Rin how to use tools. He even carved small wooden toys from scrap. The little girl, Emmy, would run to him every morning and shout, "Papa Kale!" At first it shocked him. He wasn't her father, but she believed he was, and that belief slowly changed something deep in him. He stopped thinking of her as the alien child. He just thought of her as his. One evening, Kale returned from trade with some fresh bread and a cracked mirror. "Found this in the junk pile," he said, placing it in front of Nayli. She looked at her reflection. Her eyes widened. "I look old," she said with a quiet laugh. Kale sat beside her. "You look tired, but still strong." Nayli ran a hand through her dark hair. "I haven't seen myself in over a year. I forgot what I looked like." Kale didn't say anything, but he saw more than her reflection. He saw the scars, the small ones on her neck, the thin line under her eye, the marks on her wrists, places where chains had once rested. He reached out, gently touching her hand. "You're safe now." Nayli closed her eyes. "Am I?" Kale answered without thinking. "As long as I'm breathing." That night, Nayli coughed again, harder, blood on her sleeve. Kale wanted to panic, but he didn't. Instead, he cleaned her mouth, gave her warm water, and sat beside her in silence. After a while, she whispered, "They're the only good thing I've ever made." "You made more than them," Kale said softly. She turned to him. "You made me care," he said. "You made me stay." "That matters." Nayli blinked fast. Her lips trembled, but no words came. So Kale leaned closer and said gently, "You're not just a survivor." She looked at him. "You're a mother. You're a fighter. And you're someone I want to keep around." Nayli smiled through her tears. "I've never belonged anywhere," she whispered, "but this feels close." Kale nodded. "Then let's make this home." Outside, the cold wind howled across the empty land, but inside, behind a locked door, 4 souls sat together. Not a perfect family, not a normal one, but a real one. And in a broken galaxy, that was something rare, something worth protecting, something worth fighting for. The morning started like all the others. Kale was fixing a broken heater coil. Rin helped by handing him tools. Emmy was drawing shapes on the dusty floor with a broken stick. Nayli was cooking. She always insisted on doing small things. Even if her hands shook, even if her breath was short, she said it helped her feel like herself. Kale didn't stop her. She smiled more when she moved, but today, her smile never came. Cale smelled something burning and rushed into the small kitchen corner. This pot was boiling over. Smoke filled the room. Nayli stood there, her hand frozen in midair, holding a wooden spoon. Her eyes were wide, but empty. Nayli. She didn't respond. Nayli. Then her knees buckled. She collapsed hard to the floor, hitting her shoulder, on the stove. Cale dropped everything and ran to her. Nayli, talk to me. She was breathing, but barely. Her lips were blue. Her hands were ice. The children screamed. Emmy tried to wake her. Mama! Mama! Cale lifted her gently and carried her to the bed. She didn't open her eyes. An hour passed. She didn't wake. Cale checked her pulse, her breathing. Weak. Too weak. He turned to the kids. Stay here, don't open the door no matter what. He ran outside into the bitter wind, heading straight for the one place he didn't trust, the old comm station. It still worked. Barely. It was illegal to use for off-world calls, but Cale didn't care. He pushed in the encrypted code Nayli had given him weeks ago, one she'd begged him not to use unless it was life or death. He waited. Then, a voice answered. Old. Strange. Alien. Cale? It said. He didn't ask how they knew him. She's dying, Cale said. I need help. She has kids. They need her. A pause. Then the voice whispered, We will come. Don't let her sleep too long. If she drifts, she might not return. That night, Cale sat by her side. He held her hand and talked to her. About nonsense, about stars, about Stu, about the day Emmy called him Papa for the first time. She didn't move, but he kept talking, even as his throat grew dry. Even when the kids fell asleep beside her, curled up like kittens, he didn't stop. Nayli, listen to me, he whispered. You fought through hell to save your children. Don't you dare leave now, not after all this. He leaned close. Stay. Please. I'll carry everything if you're tired. Just don't go. By morning, the door knocked. Cale opened it to find two strangers, cloaked aliens with eyes like glowing glass. He didn't ask questions, just moved aside. They examined her, touched her skin, chanted in a low tone that made the room feel heavier. Then they opened a small box with glowing powder. She is almost gone, one said. Cale's chest tightened. Can you save her? She does not want to die, the other said. That helps, but it will hurt. Do it, Cale said, whatever it takes. The children were sent outside. Cale stayed. He held Nayli's hand as the healers poured the powder into a shallow bowl and placed it on her chest. Smoke rose. Her body shook violently. She gasped, then screamed. Cale nearly pulled away, but her hand squeezed his back. She was fighting. Minutes passed like hours, and then at last, she opened her eyes. She was pale, her breath shallow, but her eyes, those gold eyes, were alive again. She looked at Cale, then at the healers, then at her children peeking in through the door. I'm still here, she whispered. Cale nodded. Yeah, you scared us. She smiled weakly. I didn't mean to. One healer spoke, calm but firm. She must rest. For many days. Her body was too close to death. Will she recover? Cale asked. With time. And love. Cale looked at her. She has both. That night, Cale lay beside her for the first time. Not as a protector, not as a stranger, but as someone who realized he couldn't lose her. Not now, not ever. And as her fingers found his in the quiet darkness, he whispered, I wasn't ready to be a father, or a partner, but you made me one. Nayli didn't answer with words. She just held his hand tighter. 2 months passed. The snow on Varan 6 melted early that year. Strange for a dead moon. But no one in the little colony complained, and in a small metal hut at the edge of the ridge, something even stranger was happening. Life was blooming. Nayli could walk now, not fast, not far, but each step was stronger. Her skin had color again. Her voice no longer shook, and most nights her laughter returned. Rin and Emmy never left her side. Rin asked questions about the stars. Emmy played pretend with wooden spoons and called Cale daddy with a giggle that made the roof feel warmer. Cale never corrected her. He didn't need to. One quiet evening, they all sat outside watching the sunset across the icy ridge. Cale had built a fire. Nayli sat wrapped in a blanket, her children leaning against her shoulders. Cale handed her a small cup of warm tea. Nayli took it, smiled, and said softly, "They're not afraid anymore." Cale nodded. "That's because they know they're home." Nayli stared at the fire for a long time. Then she asked, "Do you think we can stay here? For good?" Cale looked at the stars. He had contacts, friends, smugglers. He knew how to stay hidden, but this wasn't hiding anymore. This was living. "Yes," he said at last. "We'll make it work." Nayli turned to him. "And you? What do you call us, to others?" Cale smiled. "I call you family." She looked at him, eyes full of quiet disbelief. Then something in her face shifted, not fear, not sadness, but peace. Later that night, Cale walked into the old comm tower once more. This time not to beg for help, but to register something. He typed slowly, carefully. Citizenship request, Varan 6. Outpost, name, Cale Renshaw. Cohabitants, Nayli, female alien, no known last name. Rin and Emmy, minors. The system blinked. Status, pending. But Cale smiled anyway. Because the next part was the most important. Relationship, chosen family. He paused, then, instead of submitting, he edited the line. Relationship, father, husband. He hit send. Back at the hut, Nayli was tucking in the kids. Rin clutched a small wooden ship Cale had carved for him. Emmy kissed her mother's cheek, eyes already closing. Nayli sat beside them until they drifted to sleep. Then she looked up and saw Cale in the doorway. "You left," she said softly. "Just for a bit," he said. "Had to do something." She raised an eyebrow. "Illegal?" "Not this time," he smiled. He walked in, sat beside her, and gently held out something, a simple metal bracelet with 4 tiny beads. Nayli picked it up. "What is this?" "1 bead for each of us," Cale said, "and a circle that keeps us together." Nayli looked at the bracelet, then at Cale. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She just leaned her head on his shoulder. For the first time in her life, she wasn't running. She wasn't afraid. She was home. Outside, the stars shone silently. The Bureau never came. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they didn't care anymore. Or maybe they knew. No one could break a family that chose each other. Not time, not war, not even space. Itself. Final line. She had once begged a stranger to save her children. Now that stranger had given them something more. A name, a future, and a place in a human's heart. Forever.